Welcome to Live on One. My name is Stephen Burke, and today I'm here with, first I'll do our regulars. So Jin's here.
Hello.
Jin, you're part of the Live on One family. You're not just Poor Protocol. I want to show that
I am between parents, basically.
Hey, a podcast is not your team. It's,
we won custody. Though.
Yeah, we did win custody. So.
I'm abiding by the custody battle, and I'm here as legally obligated for these podcast episodes.
Court mandated a Live on One time.
Yes.
Also here today is Michael Waller. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hello.
And as a special guest, we have our local and web's hero, Matt Alix. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. So today we are talking, I guess, like a quick introduction. Obviously, there's been a lot of releases or spoilers from AMG in the past week about webs. And so we are bringing Matt on. Mike and Jin are also longtime webs players. I have now hopped onto the meta bandwagon, so I will be exploring them as well. So
full bandwagon.
Well, to be fair, I played webs a little bit. Like Matt was mentioning, he saw my head explode at a team tournament a few years ago. So, but anyway, so without further ado, we'll start off with our normal segment, Characters Alive on One, and we'll start off with if our special guest Matt, you got anything today?
Well, none of my characters stayed alive on one, but we were playing our most recent league at Midgard, where there's where you're restricted with the characters you can take, and we didn't have availability in my tier to the top 20 characters since Adepticon, I think. So anyway, and the game ended up being I had Hulk attacking Cassandra Nova, and it took 4 attacks, and she was still alive on 1.
Oof.
And not because my opponent rolled good defense. It was not good, but
Hulk just failed completely.
Oh, completely. I think he ended up dying, and he did maybe 8 damage overall during the whole game. Characters, so just one of those days.
S tier model. Let's go.
Cassandra Nova, yeah. The new horseman of whatever she is.
Bork, do you even know what horseman Cassandra Nova is?
I ran her as Famine, yeah.
Okay.
I do.
What's the other one?
I don't know that one.
Isn't it Death?
I would assume it's Death, probably.
Yeah. They give Death to all the people who don't need it, so I'm going to guess Death.
Yes, it is Death. I was right. I took a guess.
You can pretty more often than not. I use her as Famine, though. She just felt like when I used her, the few games I used her, Famine felt pretty good on her. So, but anyways, I don't want to talk about APOC. Not today. So,
you're off APOC.
Yeah, I'm just going to play both. I'll make an APOC webs list, and it'll be super annoying. And so, Jin, it looks like you got something here.
Oh, yeah. I was testing out Spider Noir with a friend recently to see how it was. He did great in surviving a great attack. So he was left alive on 1 with about 5. Yeah, it was 5 power. And they took their new Echo model and charged into him. And he just Spider Track away. He's like, great. Next objective, Shang-Chi's all webbed up. I should be able to do some damage to him. So I proceeded to do a 7-die spender and a 9-die builder into Shang-Chi, doing 0 damage. And then he died.
Nice.
I love it for you, Jin. Foiled by dice yet again. Also, that we'll talk about this later, but that guy can survive a lot more than I thought he could.
No. When we get to him,
okay.
I'll talk about it.
All right, so Mike, you can go next.
Well, me and Borg played a game earlier today, and his damn Silk just was alive on 1 and just would not go down with Miles. I was getting greedy. I all moved up with Miles, Ultimate Miles. Did the spender into Noir, hoping to get the wild. And if I got the wild, Silk would have went down. I do it. I don't even take out Noir, who had 3 damage left, and I don't get the wild either. So I had to waste my second action to go into her after the web swing, so it was 9 dice, and I still didn't get her. I actually forgot how she went down, but that's just my live on 1. So did not
I
die.
don't remember, but I know she took a Spider 2099 attack, and it was like, well, to be fair, we were also playing on Scoundrels, so I think one or two of those were covered. But turns out, when you roll like 4 successes every time, you just don't die.
Yep. Yeah. Well, 2099 ignores cover.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I guess we'll get
but
to
still-
that, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's also mine. I didn't remember that, but apparently it bugs you enough to.
She didn't die. She took like 5 attacks alive on one. She did not die.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on, Mike, it also looks like you have some hobby stuff here.
I just painted Gwenum.
Okay. Oh, quick
That's
and
it.
easy. Making
Yeah,
some
it-
progress.
It was pretty quick and easy. I didn't spend a lot of time on her. Maybe like an hour or two.
Okay.
I like how she came out. She looks nice. She's like purple and blue, and I made her orange at the same time to match my base. But yeah, that's all I've done.
Cool. I've been working a little bit on Jin's models. I'm trying Jin to get those all to you on that 27th tournament. So, expediting the process. It's mostly your defenders and your APOC stuff. So,
Yep. Thank you.
you're welcome. And Matt, you doing any hobbying recently?
So I've been putting together all my MCP models just because except for Phoenix and the latest Brotherhood box, I have in the Wakanda Pay to Win box. I've purchased everything, but I had not put most of it together. So I've just been trying to get everything together, and I've finished everything except for Cosmic Ghost Rider because you had the little clear part, and Arnim Zola for the same reason. But I've put all those miniatures together. Mainly because I was trying to clean up space, and put together miniatures take up way less space than the boxes they come in, especially MCP models. So,
Oh, yeah.
but now they're all
Yeah.
together, so I can use them.
Cool. Yeah. I had a similar process. I moved a few months back, and I was like, I'm either going to sell all this stuff or put it together. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Cool. So I'm trying my quickest to get through all this so we can. So I guess we'll just skip over life stuff because who gives a fuck? We're living. Webs are out. That's all the living you need.
Webs for days.
Yeah. So I'll run through these events real quick. So Red Seal Gaming has an event coming up in New Jersey on September 20th. That'll be like a couple days from when this is released. The following weekend, you can come on up to Jin's TOing in East Windsor CT. I believe at least me and I think Will and I think Mike's unconfirmed right now, but Mike might be there as well on September 27th, which is a week.
I'm 50-50.
Okay.
It just honestly depends if I feel like driving.
Gotcha.
But-
Well, I told you you could stay over if you need. So.
Yes, that's the show. Well, the only thing is, actually, yeah, no, there's no other thing. Actually, never mind.
Okay.
I just don't feel like driving.
I get
But
it.
I probably will. I probably still will come.
Okay, so that's September 27th. Jin will be TOing at the Battle Center. Great little spot. Maybe Matt, you can drive down for that, but you guys don't seem to leave New Hampshire.
We have come down that way before, but there's an Old War tournament that day. That a couple of us are playing
gotcha.
in, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been meaning to buy some Old World models and get those painted. And in fact, the winnings I was going for Midgard, I was going to use to like get a discount on the Cathay starter box,
yeah.
but they did not have any. So
Now those sold out right as they come in. But did you spend your credit, or do you still have it?
no, I still have it.
So call them and ask them to order you one because they're still available online. Like they're back in stock
good call.
at
And
GW, so it might take a while, but they'll get it in for you eventually.
Yeah, it's no rush because that's kind of my beer and pretzel game.
Yeah.
Anyways, so all right, yeah, I just wrote that down in my notes. Thank you, Matt. If anything, you came on, and now I'll get some cool new models.
I knew they were back in stock because they're ordering me a second one.
Oh, nice. Oh, so everyone's playing it.
No, a couple people are, but I like the
The aesthetic's awesome. Yeah. Super Chinese, ancient Chinese, which is cool.
Who doesn't like Chinese myth dragons?
I don't know. Show me one person. I'll show you a liar. Or Matt, or Mike Whalen. I got to do it on air. Sorry, Mike. I wasn't here last time. A lot of shade I got to give you. So, anyways, we're running through these. Let's see if we can finish them in less than a minute. Fall Retreat, Charlottetown, Mass, October 17th through 19th. Teams are forming or dropping, if you're in my case. WTC, Copenhagen, Denmark, October 25th through 26th. Pork Roll has a team going there. Jin's part of that. Moving on, PAX Unplugged, Philly, November 21st. I might be there now, so that's kind of cool. Standoff is that same weekend, November 22nd to 23rd. The ongoing joke. I'm really spitfiring this. The ongoing joke is that you could drive from the Friday and make it up to Maine and do the whole weekend of gaming. Then you can go to Everwinter in 2 weeks. It's Summer 5th through 7th. Hamana. Feel like one of those horse people. And then lastly, we have Captain Con, which Jin is also TOing. There's a teams tournament. I believe the team's tournament is February 1st and 2nd, and there's a singles the day before, January 30th.
Correct. And it would be a complete singleton format. The 3-man team, all unique characters, all unique crisis cards, and all unique tactics cards.
And all you can see, Jin.
Yeah, you can see me the whole weekend. You can check on me. I don't know
why. You can call him over. You just have to yell TO really loud. Or judge. Cool. So that's kind of our intro stuff. I think it's the fastest we've ever done it. But now we have a lot more content to talk about. So I guess I'll just kind of set up, and then Jin, you can sort of take over here. So recently this week, right? Lots of new spoilers. We saw rules or resaw in some cases for Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir, Silk 2099, Ultimate Spider-Man, which is Miles 2, and then Prowler, which we should probably talk about a little bit. Like if he's splashable or not at some point, because I think that's an interesting question. Because he's also really good. But anyways, we saw these kind of 5 or 6 models previewed, and it's kind of redefined, and a bunch of tactics cards, I should mention as well. And it's kind of redefined a new leadership too. So it's kind of redefined or set Webs back in kind of the think tank right now. So without further ado, Jin, you kind of want to like talk about, or Jin or Matt, you guys want to just kind of jam on like what do Waves play like now to kind of set the stage for like maybe some different ideas moving forward?
Matt Alix, would you like to just give a high-level view of what you think the card web styles was before the releases?
Yeah, I think they're pretty heavily objective-based team, right? They're fast. They can displace people. So they like a lot of points on the table at a time. And as long as they don't die, usually they're able to get the majority of the points. And I think that's also why you see a lot of people who don't like webs, because like when you first get into MCP, you're just going to try and crush people, right? KO them, take them, daze them, whatever. But they don't play that game necessarily. They can, but they don't. That's not probably the main way most people play them, and especially before these new releases. So I think that's why some people have trouble playing against them, because you run away from them and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like with webs, like you constantly have to sort of keep engaging them and making sure that they don't run away with the points, right, all the time. And usually they do that with a combination of like, typically it's going to be a wide list, so they get last activation with a huge emphasis on displacement, and they usually can take the last activation to displace you off points. They also have within faction, right, a couple models that can just sort of take your objectives without actually dazing opponents, right? Which is the thing that you usually have to do to get an objective off of somebody. So yeah, it's a very strong combination. So which is requires a very different mindset for people to play into. So yeah,
I think they have more affiliate characters than any other faction that can do that, because they have 3.
Yes, they do.
Yep. I think they have the most in-faction steals as well. So
yeah,
they have.
If you want to play like the trickery, like rogue style, yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with Borg said that they have 3 steals, and almost all their models. Yeah, actually all of their not all of them, but most of them have a form of displacement. At least the very thematic ones, like the Spider-Man, Spider-Woman's, not as much of Silver Sable or like Moon Knights. But the majority of the models that you see in a typical webs list before these new boxes came out, all of them have a form of displacement. And that's what also their splashes are good for. Usually splash different models that have also forms of displacement.
What, Mike? You forgot about Avatar of Khonshu.
Yeah, he's. So fast.
You know, see, I played with him like once. I forgot that at this place.
You need to play with Moon Knight back in the All You've Got days.
I was not playing at that time, Matt.
I know. But throwing 8 attacks and
I think I put that model on the table like once.
Hulk from full health was awesome.
Yeah. He's still like a pretty good player. If you're running like patch up or anything that requires like a huge amount of like power expenditure, though, like he's the only webs model that just generates power like no tomorrow.
Yeah, he was great when advanced R&D was a thing too, right? Because he just built up power and had really nothing to do with it. So
yes, oh man, ye old R&D days. Yeah, I remember there were turns. Yeah, you can generate like 3 power with him the first turn and pass it out to people.
Yep.
Imagine if you can Wong like 3 people like first round. That was pretty nutty back then.
It was great.
Yep, but that's the old and rocking chair days at this point. So yeah, that's the current style, and I think I don't know what you think, but Matt Alix, but I think ASM can be played before these boxes, but it was just a very very niche set of like stars alignment before you decide to run the ASM leadership. For me, it was typically like a Kingpin game on like a D shape or something is something I would run them in.
Yeah, and I as we've seen, right, the general releases and stuff have been more heavy attrition focused, like lots of rerolls or big strong attacks. So you've really wanted that Miles leadership. But ASM, like you said, in certain situations you could use it and have it be pretty effective. But Miles has always been pretty much the default choice for most games, especially recently. But I still play the ASM leadership once in a while just to see how it goes. But
yeah, like I said, it's a narrow, like you have to basically, it's a call out that the team isn't going to have super good attrition right into you. And hopefully it's going to be wide enough of a scenario that the slows will like play a huge role, right? And keeping.
I think the ASM leadership was really good if you wanted to up your attrition, because you can, on all the all-webbed upturn, if across the board, throw a slow on somebody, then attack them, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that made, pardon the pun, like all webbed up very sticky, right? Like as far as the buff goes.
Oh my god! Here we go.
I didn't know how else to say it.
Well, I expect at least 5 more of those.
Yeah, and then so I guess that kind of connects to the current popular crisis cards, right? It's going to be D shapes or what is it? Syndicate scoundrels, right? That the
scoundrels,
5,
yeah,
yeah,
yep.
And then same thing on extracts. You're looking at high number of extracts, or I think scientific samples has been getting a lot of play by web slayers too recently, because you get that extra point if all your guys are in your objectives. So with something like ASM, you can grab one of the objectives on the middle and move back to a secure.
Yeah, and then webs aren't bad on that, considering the fact that they also can disrupt their opponent from getting the bonus VP on prior rounds by pulling them off not even totally off the secure, because they have to be just in 2 of a secure, but away from a secure. Even round 1, which is Gwen, she can just move, do an impact webbing. If you don't get the wild, you could just use the same range, just pull them closer to you. So samples is not a bad one for webs. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, and the third thing actually is that they actually really appreciate the extra power gain from the skulls too, because it's a pretty power star faction.
Definitely.
So it hits a lot of different things for webs, I think, as a thing. And fourth thing, it's not a civilian, so you don't get Terrigenesis.
Right, which is the most important part these days.
Yep.
I think there are crises that I don't mind seeing my opponent play, but that I wouldn't take myself to, like Deadline to Destruction, because you're so fast. You can, if somebody's in between 2 points, you can hit them from both with the interact. And it's the narrow D, I think, is what it's referred to as. And I don't take it personally, but I don't necessarily mind if I lose priority or it's not my secures and that pops up, just because, like I said, you're so fast.
It's funny
that are in between points for multiple points.
I was going to say, it's funny because when that crisis first got revealed, I thought it was going to be a struggle for webs, but playing on it a couple of games, you're really able to actually use the deadline effectively against your opponents. And then you can bring characters with damage reduction like Bill in order to help out with that and make up for when they take the damage. So it's not a bad crisis for deadline,
with
but
the
I do
outside
agree.
evacuation
It's not something I would bring. I don't mind when it comes up.
Yeah, and when the outside with the
Oh,
outside
no,
of
I was
activation
finished, Matt.
movement, with the outside of activation movement that webs have, you can kind of you don't have to stay close enough to the secures either if you don't want to. Right, you can get your attacks in and get away.
Yep.
All right, so out with the old and in with the new. Not that I mean, I still think that so having like setting that context for webs, I don't think that that's going away. Personally,
No.
That kind of play style. So it's just become enhanced, if you will. So I guess I don't know if we need to go through like. We just talked about the crisis, and I don't know if we need to go through like current splashes. I think let's just kind of like move on to like some new stuff.
I think that the splashes are the same splashes that everybody else is taking.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to go over it.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, Bill, excuse me, Prowler might be in there now, possibly. But
I was also seeing some players use Luke Cage pretty effectively, and Luke Cage has become slowly one of those very interesting models a lot of people fit in for a midline grab that isn't necessarily a safe grab, but a safer grab, right?
Yeah.
If you can park Luke behind cover with a midline extract, like that model is incredibly hard to put like decent damage like into, right? Especially under like a Miles reroll. So like I just want to shout that out as being like something to see more recently.
And Heroes for Hire is like a really good card in general for most factions. So I've seen Luke in a lot of stuff, or Luke or Iron Fist kind of like making a comeback these days. So but anyways, I think we should move on to like some of the new stuff. So do we want to just go through these like one by one?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess so. Since people do have access to the cards now, I guess like we don't need to actually like read the card verbatim, right? We can
No, I don't think so. No.
Highlights and like how we've seen them play on the table, which some of these are so good. Actually, all of them I can't say a bad thing about, I think, which is kind of nice for a release. Nice or bad, depending on your perspective on webs. But we'll just start out with the man of the hour. Everyone's talking about this guy, at least a little bit, in every Discord I'm a part of. Spider-Ham, the 2-threat that's webs affiliated. Go. Go.
I think a lot of the talk is right because AMG was like, we're not doing 2-threats anymore. And then we got this.
Yeah, and then we get this guy. I'll let Matt and Jin say their thoughts first, and then I'll speak. Because I played I think about 20 games so far with Spider-Ham ever since he was previewed at Adepticon. So I have a lot to say about him.
Sure, take it away, Matt. What are your first thoughts on Spider-Ham?
I think he's great because he's an affiliated 2-threat. Right? I mean, he's interesting, right? Because just it's either going to go well for you or bad for you, and he can definitely fold like a piece of paper. But he's got damage reduction. He's size 1, which is great. Like, he can hide behind almost anything and not be able to be attacked, but still, have an effect on the board. I think he's actually a little finessey with the web yoink that could totally fail too, right? Pulling you towards the enemy. But I mean, just an affiliated 2-threat is a great advantage, I think, for any faction because it just helps you stay affiliated.
Yeah,
pretty well.
I will say one thing that I've noticed through playtesting him. I don't have 20 games like Mr. Mike over there, but the first like 3 or 4 games that I do have using him, the one like addendum is that guy is fucking tanky. I think more often than not, he takes 1 damage from like 6-7 dice attacks. If someone spikes a little bit, you're okay. But like, especially on like a mission, I guess it depends like what mission, right? If you're on like Scoundrels, my God, with the car, or you're on a car or something. Sure. Yeah, he just doesn't fucking die. But yeah, I have noticed also like you have to kind of risk assess with him to do the yoink, and there's often some, and his range 2 on his Porker Hygiene gainer is a little limiting because his range 4 doesn't allow him to gain any power.
Right.
which kind of like, you really have to plan out when you expose him, or when you like move, do a porker hijink, and then try to web yoink, and that can also backfire. So he's a little bit risky, I think.
He's definitely, a little more of a finesse piece, I think, and definitely with only the 2 defense dice, really benefits under Miles, right? For the being able to modify skulls.
Yeah, he's super. I think Miles' leadership is definitely a great place for him. But Jin, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, so for me, I really like the whip doink because like I feel that you can usually spin into a positive no matter what. So as long as you don't feel like you have to double move the web yoink, like if you move once then web break someone, you can either move them off the point, or you can typically then parlay that into an attack that you get into him, right? And he has all these triggers that can either like give more conditions, or push somebody around, or he could then just choose to just keep moving on to a point, right? So from there, I think the web doink is actually like not that hard to use, in my opinion, but it just that you have to be willing to be flexible with the outcome, right? That you get.
Well, and I think because he's size 1, right? So, if you put him behind any terrain, it doesn't require line of sight. You just have to be within range 4. So if you're on the way to this point, I'm going to maybe pull somebody off, and then you position him behind terrain where he can't be moved if you fail, quote unquote, fail your roll. Then I think that's a perfectly feasible way to use him too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you can figure out how to extract the positive outcome, no matter the outcome of the web point, right? And that's when it becomes really, really fun. I also think that pie is one of the best things we have against Shang-Chi in faction, by the way.
Oh yeah, the range 4 attack is great. Just giving out the shock, it has amazing synergy with all these other new models.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so what do you think?
Is really good.
You got games, Mike. What are your thoughts on him?
So I think you're going to see a lot of this guy, not just in webs, just in general. As it has been stated before, he's the only 2-threat that has any form of displacement. The real thing that stands out to me is his builder. Even though for the push you need to crit into hits, it's not the worst thing to happen. I mean, the hits are 2 sides of the die if you get a crit in there, but also it's omnidirectional. There's no size on it, so you can push him away, push him towards any character, and it's any size. Giving out the shock is great with Spider Noir. If you're able to use Spider Noir's Splinter to give out shock in the slow, and then use Spider Ham to give out the stun, you can actually effectively get the stagger off pretty easily. But he's also just a great first activation character in webs. Often when you take Wong or like Toad, they're not typically after round 1 your first activation character. Sometimes when you use Wong, use them to meditate and pass a power, but it's kind of like a pass. But Spider-Ham being able to be a 2-threat that could be an effective first activation as the game goes on is great for webs, where you can hold off on your heavy hitters, your runners, your steals, and you can just throw pies with this guy or hit somebody. You can also play very aggressive with him or very laid back. You can easily just sit on the point, or you can move him up the board round 1 onto a secure and have him be aggressive and really tanky. And unless you're against Namor, he's going to be hard to take down.
Yeah, I kind of like the double walk with him sometimes. Like when you're playing him aggressively, you just double walk onto someone else's secure, and they're like, "What the fuck? Now I got this goddamn."
Yeah,
that's a threat that you have to expend resources to deal with.
Yep.
So,
he's how these characters. Sorry, I was going to say talking about how these characters enhance ASM leadership. Right, if you get that slow off on your attack, you spend a power and you get to displace that character.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like someone else can, if he has the first activation, gets that slow off, then someone else can move in, after that character's activated or something, and like bump him.
Well, he can do it himself, right? Because if he gets the wild in his attack and gives them slow, he's already going to be within range 2, so he can spend the power he gets from the attack to displace that character.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I was overthinking something. Yeah. So any kind of what do we think about his? I read his card. It's cute.
So
don't know
this
if it
is
has a lot of
new
play. Yeah.
level of Misfits. Like this is just my quick and dirty. Is that it's a new level of Misfits. It's a fun card for different effects, but in practice, I think Ham's power economy is so kind of called for and spoken for that he rarely is going to have the 2 or 3 power he needs, right, to play that card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think well said.
I see that one a lot. I think, when Web Warriors have so many, I keep wanting to call them Spider Friends. That's an old versus card game thing. But there's so many good Web Warriors cards that finding a spot in your 5 to fit this in makes it even more.
Yeah, that's another problem, especially since Webs also benefit from a lot of the unaffiliated cards right now. Like Recal, or what's the other one that you love, Jin?
Survival?
Survival, yeah, but also the one where you get to move. If that's restricted, I'm ignoring restricted because they're limited, but like
Warpath,
the one where you get to move, Warpath, like all of those are great Webs cards too. So your slot's a little limited, I think, for stuff, something like just kind of like fun like this. It'd be fun to like do. I don't know if you're playing like a casual game, it'd be a nice little.
Yeah, I think this falls in the line of kitchen table cards that like are very good theme wins. Like this is absolutely like a ham themed card, but it doesn't necessarily see play in like super sweaty events, right?
Yeah, Peter Porker, Porker Popper. I do love that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, I think that's kind of ham. So moving on, we'll talk about one of my new favorite models, Spider Noir, the black and white Webs.
Dude, I feel like people are still sleeping on him.
Oh my! I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of input about him, but
I think it's that all these characters are really good, and he's sort of towards the bottom of good. Not that he's bad,
Matt,
just
we lost
out of
you
all
there for a second.
The 4 characters we get.
Could you just repeat that? We lost you there for a second.
Oh yeah, I was saying, we got 5 really good characters, and I just think Spider Noir is towards the middle bottom of that, which is, if people aren't talking about it, that might be why, right? They're focused on the other characters.
Yeah. I think it depends what leadership you're running to, where he becomes good or bad.
I think Spider Noir is he's going to be like your workhorse. Is he the most flashy? No. But he's going to get the job done, and he's going to do it very effectively game from game. His survivability, as I stated on the last episode, is as much as Bill. I mean, if you're attacking him with Mystic attacks, he has the same defense as Bill does, just 3 innate with the damage reduction. And then you tap on with the 2 rerolls, and if it's Miles, you get an extra reroll. And the game we just played today on Scoundrels, he modifies 1 to success. His tankiness is very effective. And he's just all around 3 threat that you're going to want in a brawl. His only
shout out to him on the extract where you take damage, and I'm blanking on the name of that. Webs use a lot.
Cubes.
Cubes.
You're going to want him on cubes. You're going to want him on deadline. Anything that gives you damage. His only problem is if he gets really displaced. But there's forms to get around that with one of the new cards. Matt and Jin, if either of you want to go.
Yeah, so he obviously doesn't have any control, right? That's his balancing factor. But he's very tanky. He plays with both leaderships because either under Miles, he's become so hard to kill, or 2, under ASM, we're seeing a theme of these new Spider characters having the ability to put on slow innately by themselves, so that they can leverage ASM's leadership, so they can displace somebody on their own turn. So he has no displacement until you can spender somebody to put him slow on them, and then you can cash out the ASM slow to displace somebody within 1, which is really nice.
Yep.
But he's also a guy that just gets to attack you 3 times. So like throws, like he gets a terrain throw for just 2 power, which is pretty cheap. And he gets like 2 attacks, right? And somebody like a 4 dice attack, and then like a 7 die builder if you attack the same person again. So that can kind of add up like after a while,
Yeah, I think a size 2 terrain throw, so 3 automatic damage from something within 3, and throwing it medium for only 2 power is pretty good.
Yeah, I was really surprised that they let him throw a piece of terrain like medium. Like that was like, whoa, that's way longer than I would expect.
No, it gets pretty far. Like I forgot that at first when I played against Borg today. I was thinking it was 2, and then like later in the game, the thing I wanted to throw, I realized I could have thrown the whole time. So then I did eventually throw it at him. And it was really far. It was just at 3, and I threw the medium exactly medium away from him, and it was a really far distance to throw.
Yeah. How do we I personally really like this model. I I think under Miles' leadership is, I don't know, that's when I see. I mean, he was effective in under both leaderships today, Mike, but like, I think under Miles' leadership, just kind of having that Bill-like character, just kind of run around, and then when someone's hitting with you like energy or defense, the amount of rerolls plus the damage reduction, he just like is another really tanky model, and kind of the vein of like Silk too. But yeah, Jin, did you have something?
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about, like, when I was talking about people taking Luke Cage earlier for that midline grab. Like,
Yeah.
not a safe grab at distance, but again, someone, if you can put in cover and stuff, like, he feels like he should be pretty good to hold on that.
I'm glad you brought that up. So the first practice game that I played with new webs I've been running Miles and just trying that out for a while. But I mid grabbed with, I had Toad in my roster at the time, and I mid grab, the semi safe grab with Toad. We all kind of know it from the APOC play. But I realized, like, after that game very quickly that, like, he just walks to the middle and grabs, he just is tanky enough to, like, survive like one or even two attacks sometimes. So someone was going to say something.
The nice thing is too is that with him, because Black Cat can also serve the same purpose. She can grab something on the middle and just stand there because of the no rerolls, no crits thing, right? So you have two characters that if you get him in cover on the midline can stand there at least for a turn.
Yeah. No, so now you have like options. Like if you don't want to kind of give up or Black Cat's going a different flank or something, so it just like provides a little bit more flexibility with some of the three threats. Cool. And then so I've read this card like several times, and I'm still on the fence of whether it's good or not. The Spider Sleuth, I think it's a little too hard to pull off after like reading it like 6 times. But I could be wrong. And Jin, you can tell me why I'm wrong.
Bork, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I think this card is actually less of a meme, and it actually is pretty like usable. You just need the right crisis combination for it, right?
Yeah.
Mike, did you have something you want to chime in with?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing again. If you get the right crisis selection on Senators, I got to try this on Senators.
That's what I was.
You can. There's a way you can cover. He can go first, pick up one of their middle back, and he can cover all 5 Senators with that card. Some of them he doesn't cover as good, but like you can consistently probably get this card off if it's the right objective set.
Yeah, and typically I think in a Senators match, like a lot of the objectives are just going to falling in the center.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, disagreement then? What about pay to flips, guys? So MCROM is super popular.
Mutant Madman's pretty popular right now too. Infinity, sometimes I see Mutant Madman a lot with APOC. Well, I guess with my APOC, but to be fair, I've seen it more than once. I played more than once into it. So, and foes could be coming up a lot, and they're going to love pay to flips. So this is also extra good in the foes matchup. So yeah. So
and then like it's probably not too hard to get a KO with like Noir at some point, right? Because he just needs one days or KO right with him. So
yeah, and honestly, go ahead, Matt. Sorry,
I was going to say that's why I think like this would be a card I would play on Senators because you're going to move up there, grab an objective, and then they're going to do the same thing, but they only get one move, right? So there's probably going to be something there for him to punch next turn and possibly, with a double attack, daze them.
Yeah.
Which means theoretically turn 2, you could get your 2 VPs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I also think this is a great call out for the mirror is where I was going to go with that. I think we're going to be seeing Web's mirrors more often than we have in recent times. Possibly, but I do think like if the mission stack is correct, this can be a good way to kind of like possibly set yourself a little bit more point scoring in the mirror. I forget why I had that thought, but there was an intelligence behind that has since left me.
Okay, Mike, did you have something to say? Because you're speaking for a second there.
On Senators, if you can get 2 evidence tokens off at least round 1, you're in a pretty good shape. For the rest of the game, really, because then you only need 1 and you need 1 KO. And from the one game I played with him, he can easily KO some models. It's not hard for him to do that. Yeah. If he's loaded up on power and he does the beam, and then does his oi oi,
Yeah.
You can get some serious damage out there. Now that's relying on the dice, but it's not far fetched for him to get a KO.
Yeah. And you could kind of combo this with your all webbed up turn, like set yourself up so by the time you're all webbed up in, you're kind of like spender in with him and doing like a shitload of damage too. So
yeah,
it's got some like play with their other Texas cards, which is cool synergy.
Well, if he's targeting like a 3 threat, and you do just the builder for 4 dice, go into 7 dice, and then throw a size 2, that is 11 dice plus 3 damage incoming.
Yeah,
you can get some
definitely
consistently.
punches.
Yeah,
he definitely punches, as we found out earlier today. Because I think in our mirror game, both my noir and your noir killed more than we thought they would. So
listen, I am not above just double walking and throwing a piece of terrain into some grunts for that KO. By the way,
oh no,
that's true too. Yeah,
I mean. Just like Silver Sable, right? Who is amazing when your opponent has grunts. This guy's going to get even better when your opponent has grunts, and you have this guy.
Yeah, especially because it's VPs too, which is even more impactful for like a usually faster scoring kind of web seam.
Yeah. So therefore, Bork, not a meme. That's my hot take.
Oh no, I think we all here agree that he's pretty solid. So,
no.
But moving on to my favorite new model so far. And I can't wait to paint her actually as well. Silk. So, thoughts on Silk?
Why don't you go first, Borg? Since you played 3 games with her today.
Well, I apparently have been fucking up. So her card goes deep. I think Waller less than politely was pointing out.
Sorry.
No. So I will say, like, even just forgetting some of her rules. I'm still in my first few practice games with this. And kind of remembering what they do. Webb's cards historically have a lot of writing on them, so sometimes you forget the little nuances when you first play them or when you pick them up again. And but I will say, just from the get-go, reading her card in my first initial games, she has a very deep card, and her role in the team can be deeper. But I think she opens up a really strong, another really strong kind of side extract. So like the side extracts. Because she can move out double. She usually has to double move, but she's a great extract holder, and you kind of want her. So where am I going with this? And so instead of picking up like maybe a side extract with Cat, because you want to like have her generate power for the steal. So more or less, Cat's role can be like late game or like round 2-3 steal. Miles as well. They kind of have that like delayed wanting to pick up that extract. She's like turn 1 right off the bat. You kind of want her holding something. She's incredibly tanky. They decided for some reason to take that Mystic weakness that webs have historically had and just like say fuck you. So if you don't know her Silk Sense, she can re-roll 2 dodge rolls and she gets the Miles leadership built in, which a lot of others of these characters do have. But on a 4 threat with a 4/3/3 double re-rolling, unlocking skulls, it's just it's a little nasty. I do think she works a little bit like some of those models like the Black Widow, who kind of like typically a like turn sequence will be like move and do some kind of attack and then have like that reactive superpower kind of just waiting in the fray. But anyways, I really, really like this model. She has been, and I think she plays under all of the leaderships incredibly well and like syncs up with the new leadership card, syncs up with Miles' leadership, and also syncs up with ASM. Like she's just good. I think you see her in every list, every web's list, no matter what leadership you're running. And then Jin, I know she's also your favorite model, so you should come in on this too.
Oh man, this every time I look at this model, like it just changes like the different like progression trees of what you should do during a turn, right? Versus like early game, mid game, and late game.
Yes.
She triggers just a ton of like power from if you just get people slow. So I think inherently she's going to feel really good in the ASM leadership, right? Because you're just going to get the entire team, the other enemy team, slowed by like round 2, right? And any movement they do are just going to generate power for her. And she's only has a 2 costs, like, tricks and traps effect, a la Mysterio, so, and she gets a refund back if the movement like was with a slow, right? So she's effectively sometimes net just paying just 1 power left for caught in the web.
Yeah.
You know, and this thing will trigger off any movement. So not only is her pushes triggering this,
Any places to Oh yeah.
You think about the amount of impact webbings people have,
Yeah.
the spectacular Spider-Man throw, I don't know, random kick from Miles, or just even the place from the ASM leadership specifically calls out that they still have the slow while they're being placed, and they only remove that slow once the placement is done. So that means that if you place somebody with the ASM leadership, she still triggers her tricks and traps, gets the refund, and has potential to do damage and walk away.
Or walk on a point,
Yeah, my head's spinning. Matt or Mike, would you either of you guys have something to chime in with for Silk?
If it's bad, don't fucking say it.
No. On the all up turn with Mass Menace, she's bananas.
Yes.
Explain.
Oh yeah.
So Mass Menace, right? Every time you do a damage within 3 of that token, you're getting a power back. Also, if a character was so you play all up, you do your area attack. So if they take damage, she's getting a power back. Then after they get moved, they have slow. She's getting a power there, right? So you can easily, and then if you're playing under the new leadership, 7 dice, you're probably going to roll a skull. So you're going to get to place within 1. Then after you've done all your attacks, you're going to get to place yourself within 3 yourself.
Yep. So like Borley, what I was saying like earlier is when she's doing the area attack and then with the area just pushes everybody towards her, she's going to get refunded the power because most likely they're going to have slow, and then she could just do caught in the web into them.
Yes.
It is nuts.
So
the damage output that she can have.
Yeah, on the Mass Menace turn, if you do damage and get the power from the slow, you basically get to caught in the web them for 0 power because you just gained 2 power.
Yep.
Okay, some of these synergies are not apparent to me quite yet, but this is why we have these episodes, so Steven can do better things.
Also,
that's the only reason I started the podcast.
That's why you do it, right?
So something I missed in the last episode with her that I realized today, her push on her Spider Strike is no direction, so she could push them away or run. I forgot to mention that last episode, and I want to mention that here. That is also really good. A lot of the characters have that in this box. Omnidirectional pushes.
Yeah. She's so fucking good. I think. So I guess since we've kind of hyped her up, she is really good though. Like every single game, pretty much now. Well, what's nice about new webs too, right? Is so if you're taking Miles leadership at least, or you're taking Miles 1, let's just, we don't even have to assume that, but you can get basically somewhat affiliated at 8 threat. So you take, Miles, you take another 3 and you take Ham. So you're at 8 threat. So you can easily add Silk in, like, even though she's a 4, she feels like, or you take Silk, Miles and Ham, or you take Silk, Miles, new Ham, you're only at 10, right? So you can be 10 under, I guess, on your standard kind of list building. So she's kind of like easy to fit in, and I don't see why you wouldn't bring her in every game because she just has this like high ceiling.
Yeah.
Right.
So
adaptive.
Oh,
you're
sorry.
good, Mike.
Yeah. So what makes her good is she's a good first and last activation, and she's good on all map types. So if you look at someone like Spider Noir, he's not bad on a D map, but he is mostly for the brawl. But Silk on this instance, she's good as a runner. She's good as a brawler. She's going to be good on all map types. So I think she's honestly going to be in affiliation, the premier 4 threat for webs. She works with all the leaderships well. You do Miles' leadership, gets more tanky. You do ASM's leadership, gives her more displacement to get her kit online more. Or if you do the leadership card, it also makes her more mobile.
We actually have been mentioning that a lot, and we should just talk about what it is. So this one you may have seen. Let me just what's it called in Jarvis?
I believe it's called Web of the Spider-Verse.
Okay, Web. Oh, I'm on Crisis. So I'm just gonna do a brief thing because this is like a really new thing. And it is a full leadership, and it's actually like really good. So Spider-Verse. Okay, Web of the Spider-Verse. So here we go. So basically, you don't have to have a leader, which is its own kind of benefit in some strange way. And then all all characters get into the Spider-Verse. It does take up a card slot, which is, I guess, I don't know if it is a downside. Look at New Mutants, things like that. But this is way better than New Mutants. So basically, when the character attacks, defends, dodges, after the effect is resolved, if your roll contains one or more skull results, you may place yourself within one, and it's not once per turn, which I do really heavily want to point out because it comes up a lot.
I enjoyed that today.
Yeah, Waller played me into it, and I wasn't convinced that it was like, I should have been a little bit because, look at Midnight Suns. But I wasn't convinced it was like that good. But my God, that like one bump when you can already kind of reposition does come in handy quite a bit. So let's talk about that for a little bit before we kind of move on to Silk's card and then jump to the next character.
Yeah, so it is allied Web Warriors characters, so you do have to be a Web Warrior to use the leadership.
Okay.
Yep, no splashes.
Yeah, but also is you don't, right? Even if you have Amazing Spider-Man and Miles on the board, you don't have to choose one of their leaderships. You can have them and still play this card if you want to.
Yep. That's a good call out too.
Another benefit. But yeah, I mean, Skulls, as you know, if you're a Web Warriors player with Miles letting you reroll Skulls, they come up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So placing yourself within one of yourself is really good if you're on the far side of a point and somebody has a short pull or something to pull you off of it. If it only, because then they're going to pull you across try to pull you across the point. Placing within one can get you back on the point or wherever you need to be.
Yeah. And to just kind of see it in action, just through the normal course of like playing some of these more attrition focused games, it comes up a lot more than you'd expect. And because it's not once per turn, it's like if you interact with the opponent's webs models at all, it's like, okay, hop here, hop here, hop here, and then maybe they haven't activated yet, right? Like Mike.
Yeah, this leadership ability is great on Noir. Since he has no action compression, he can't get on. So anytime he's taking attacks, if he gets displaced, if he rolled a skull, he can get back onto the points. When I was using it today with Miguel, I spent for his acceleration decoy. He got attacked, and I rolled a skull. I used the skull first. I bumped onto cover. I was still in range, but then I used the place 2 to get out of the range. It can be very versatile, either to go forward. I was also using that today with models if I wanted to attack. Like if they get attack, I got the skull, I'll move them forward. The model that I like it best on is like Gwen. Either of the Gwens. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah.
You can continue with your Gwen point, but I have one quick thing to make after.
Yeah, so I didn't get to do it today with Gwen, and I was going to do it if our game continued, but if you, say, do an impact webbing or a builder with any of the Gwens, then if you get a skull, you place yourself, it just activates your builder even more, where you can get the extra dice, plus you can get the long movement with it. And it's something that Gwen, we always knew was good with, the 3-threat, Ghost Spider, but now you can get that. But this leadership is a way to finally play Gwenom, which I really want to try. Who her problem is you can't activate her kit really outside of like Midnight Suns, but now you can.
I really like that because Gwenom has been historically one of my favorite models, and it'd be nice to have a symbiote that's like actually good. So
this is why I painted Gwenom.
Well, even the big thing about Venom is he's so slow. Well, imagine placing yourself within one of yourself, right?
Yeah, on a medium base.
On a medium base, I think this. I don't know if it makes him, a top choice, but it definitely makes him feel maybe a little bit better, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jen.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah.
A couple things I do want to mention specifically with Gwenom and Gwen. That placement can still happen on the second attack, and because all the movement stuff happens after resolution, you could fish for the skull in 2 attacks, basically, if you're trying to just proc the extra movement from there, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, second off, the key difference, actually, to our listeners, this is not a leadership, actually. Right. This is a passive ability that everybody gets. So if there is anything that interacts with leaderships, let's say Trial by Combat with Wakanda, which never gets played, but, things that would turn off a leadership, guess what? You can't turn off this ability because they're not leaderships, actually.
Yeah, that's a good call out, Jen. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
And I think... Good.
No, that was it. I just said
I was going to say, I think this is going to be great for catching players unaware who are going for the double tap, because they're most of the time you see people moving to exactly their range to get an attack off, right? So if they attack you, just from range 2, they have range, like it's Baron Zemo, right?
Yep.
You bump away, they're outside of range 2 now.
Yeah, so like chargers are kind of like really impact. It's kind of like a little bit of the Loki 1 type meme sort of ability. Yep. But I mean, you do have to roll the skull, which is not always guaranteed. It does come up a lot, but yeah.
Yeah. What's great about it is it plays similar to Convocation's leadership when you are defending, but since it also works on attacks, you can use it for aggressive play styles, basically. I'm not in range to throw this character a piece of terrain. I'm just out. Well, I'm going to attack, and if I get the skull, I can place 1, and then I can throw X, Y, and
a
Z.
lot of the new characters too that kind of like really benefit from this. Well, they all benefit from this, but like a lot of the new character design is like most of them have like range 3, and then 2099. We'll get to him in a second, but he's we were on Silk. Silk's got a range 3, so like maybe you're just slightly out and you bump in, or like even with Ham. Maybe you're slightly out and you bump in, and now you're at a position to like displace or like affect the board state a little bit more impactfully on your activation.
Yeah, or you're attacking your opponent from within their range, and you roll a skull, and then you bump out of their range, right?
Yeah, yep.
Or somebody like Black Cat, who user spender gets her elusive, then gets a bump on top of that afterwards.
Yeah, and it makes Black Cat a dangerous fleeing target with an extract too, because it's like if you hit her and like she can bump.
Yeah,
and
she's
then,
just a little further away, right?
Yeah. Jin, so polite. He's raising his hand, and he's muted. Jin.
Oh yeah, sorry, I muted. Okay, no, I was also thinking beams, right? So beams, like let's say the finger spinnerets that we're just talking about, Silk, right? She could like beam like 3 people and potentially like place 3 times out of that. Moon Knight is actually, I think, like hilarious with this, right? Because you could rapid fire 4 attacks and he's like out of stealth range by the time he's done attacking you.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Or you can like aggressively move him up to a point with the bumps.
I'm saying he could attack 4 times and get on a point if he's close enough to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's versatile, right? You could choose like if you want to be aggressive or more like cagey.
Oh
right?
my god! Now now that we're talking about all these characters, it's like it really the field is like wide open for some experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For sure.
Also, a good card pairing is if you can fall back. If you roll a skull, you can fall back first and then bump to even get farther away.
Yep.
I didn't think of that. They move up with the charge or something, and you can just spider tracker after that.
Yep. Yep. Steven, you mentioned Warpath. Well, if I took damage and I roll a skull, I'm going to Warpath and then I'm going to bump. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right onto a point. Yeah. Man, webs are going to be really annoying. I'm sorry, listeners.
I'm not. I love it.
If you can't beat them, join them. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Cool. So let's just real quickly. So that's the leader, or not leadership. Basically, as a tactics card. But so let's move into Silk's card real quick. So I did put this in my 10. I do think if you're going maybe that more attrition style, it's kind of like worth giving it a shot. I haven't tried it yet because again, like the slots are so filled, but like it's full rerolls on her attacks, which just feel good. If you really need to, like historically, webs have had a really hard time, deleting things they absolutely need to. So in some games, in some instances, like we've all had those games playing webs where you're all webbed up turn and you just flop. So the rerolls can kind of like at least like give you a little bit more play there, Jin, and I'm sure you'll have something great here.
Sorry, live correction, Bork. I apologize.
Yes.
It is not a reroll for Silk. It is her or anyone once per round. So one time this round can reroll either all their attack dice or defense dice.
Oh, it's not even for Silk. Okay, that makes
it can be
really
for
good.
It
can
be.
Yeah.
So you're paying 2
costs. Why did they do this?
You're paying 2 power at the top of the turn for basically a
full reroll.
Anytime during the turn, reroll on attack or defense.
Yeah, you get 1 out of Agamotto basically for 2 power.
Yeah.
I want to ask Matt because I've already got Jin's opinion on the card. What's your opinion on the card? Do you think it makes your 5 often?
I think it depends on what is my plan for the game. If I'm going for an attrition game, then this will probably be in my 5, right? Like if part of my plan is to attack as much as possible, this is going to be played on my all webbed up turn. Because as we all know, on your all webbed up turn, at least one time you totally like crap out on your dice. So hopefully this helps mitigate that.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm gonna play and test, like I'm gonna test it, but I would rather just have recal, only because of the timing window. With this card, you have to play it at the beginning of the turn. At least for recal, it can be at
But recal doesn't work on an attack.
any moment.
Oh yeah, it does. My bad.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it works on attack or defense. But that's okay.
A recal, you and your opponent reroll your dice, right? This one is just you. So I think it's a little bit better in that way. Because if they roll bad on defense and you roll bad on offense, they get to keep their bad defense roll.
I could also see a world where you use this defensively, maybe into convocation or something, when you know you're going to lose your spider senses. A lot of the times, it's like a good defensive card too.
I would like it more if it was reroll any and not reroll all.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think
Jin? No, Matt?
Sorry, I was going to say it's definitely going to take some testing, and I don't think it's going to be something I'm going to take every game.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely situational.
I agree there with that. It's definitely like something that's like a maybe, but probably worth throwing in your 10 just in case. And Jin?
Part of my coloring is just that because Shang and Dr. Voodoo are still super prolific right now, the change in the Mystic, I feel is less relevant to me at the moment. Obviously, if we're in a field of X23s and Logans again, then maybe this becomes more interesting for me. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, especially with Silk's, Silk 2099, and others have that kind of we don't give a fuck about Mystic anymore. So speaking of the Devil, his card has been previewed, but so I guess maybe we should preview it extensively, and we've had it for a while, so maybe we should talk a little bit about if you've used him or what your thoughts are on 2099 in games. I know, Mike, you have used him the most, I want to say, but because you've talked about using him, and Jin's been playing Inhuman, so. And Matt, I don't know if you guys proxy or not. I don't see you on TTS as much.
I personally don't play things until they're out, but that's just me.
Okay. But let's talk about 2099. So, someone go.
Sure. I got to play 29 recently. This guy does not die very easily.
Mm-hmm.
The heal, sure, the healing from the builder is random, but that healing factor 1 goes a long way, especially in a faction that has some innate defense tech, or acceleration decoy is one of the craziest defense techs I've seen in a character so far. And his worst, his floor, his absolute floor, I feel most time is I will organic web shot somebody and then web whip them that still get a displacement and win a point. That's his floor.
Yeah. I think his play pattern, you want to, in my experience of the games I played with him, because he generates power very easily with the crit, the same as ASM, and his builder is really consistent and good. 6 dice with a Pierce is not something to be scoffed at. You really want to be doing as much spenders and web whips as possible. Most of the time when you do the spender, you're going to get a net 1 power back. His spender is just really good, and the damage output is awesome. So the best turn typically with him is if he spenders, because he gets a place off the spender, but you throw first. So you throw the person. If you get the wild, you can throw them in the back, forward. He places off it. Then you can do his builder, and then he can do another web whip. The amount of damage and displacement he can actually do on his turns is nuts. And his defense is nothing to be scoffed at. It's basically a mini fallback with rerolls. And you think 3 power is a lot, and I thought that at first. And when he first got revealed, I was like, I don't like how it's 3 power. But when you play him in practice, he gets power very easily. Yep, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, anything that gives you is hey, if you get this incidental die facing and you get power, those characters always, I think, end up with way more power than you think they would, just because the amount of dice rolls you take during a game. I should also mention that the spender giving you poison and stun
before damage
is dealt is so
huge.
Gross.
Yeah.
If this is the first attack, if this is the first attack could go into somebody, let's say a Zemo hasn't been attacked before, right? And you're just this is the first thing he gets hit by. Well, GG's, you're probably not going to get the Master Swordsman after this attack,
That's what I'm saying. You want to do as much spenders as possible because everything is before damage is dealt. It is really nuts. He also surprisingly is good into webs, ignoring stealth and cover. I also really like him surprisingly on samples. If you give him a sample, then when he is rolling two sides of a die on a crit and a skull, he gets a power. So he gets 2 powers, is really good. So he can put on his kit even more.
Yeah, I think in practice, I think I really like this guy. Also, because he's got healing factor, like cubes become way more playable, right? With this guy around too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, between him and Spider-Man Noir, you got some 2 solid cubes characters.
Yeah, it's great.
And
Matt, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he really, in sort of the, we'll call it new possible attrition webs, right? This guy's like a no-brainer for that, right? And I think, we keep talking about it, but with that new non-leadership card, acceleration decoy with a skull in your results, place 2, then place 1, right? Or any of his attacks where he gets to move around. I think he's really good. I'm definitely looking forward to playing with him, and I think he'll be a auto include in 10s for Web Warriors players.
Yes, I don't see how he doesn't make the roster because he's good on brawling maps, and then he's good just on a standalone flank on like a D map, just holding it down by himself.
Yeah, I mean him and Scarlet Spider, right? You can take both side Ds from your opponent because they both have web whip and they both have a web shot thing, right? So
yep,
you can steal both turn 1 and have both flanks turn 1.
I know you love Ben, Matt, so I'm excited to see that on the table for you.
Oh, web whip is so much fun. It's such an underrated power. Now I have 2 characters that have it.
But this one does way more damage.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, for sure.
And it gets power way easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think lists, we're talking about this and I'm sitting here kind of thinking like lists are going to be so versatile now with webs. Like, I think the 4 of us we probably all have like these lists that we're looking at, our own like personal lists. And they're probably like, I'm sure there's a lot of like staples. Like, Matt, you said 2099 is going to be in every web list. I think that's absolutely true. But I do think there's a lot of like room for like these little nuances depending on how you're kind of like running your leaderships and stuff like that. So, or leaderships.
Yeah.
So, cool. And this, just real quick, he has great power. It's a really good card. I don't know how much we need to say about it, but it's really fucking good.
He gets power so easily though.
Yeah, exactly.
That I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if this card makes my 5 just because he's going to generate power so easily and have the power he needs usually. You know what I mean?
The thing I like about it that's a little bit of is if you are leaning into like attrition webs, it does add die. So on your all webbed up turn, you can get like his 6 die builder to like something like 10 die.
It would
right?
be 10 up to 10 dice. Yeah, if you took 2 damage and and then had all webbed up. So it'd be 10 dice, and you're probably going to get a wild in that 10, so you're going to heal one of those.
Yeah, and then you have healing factor at the end of the turn. So it's like almost like low negatives on it. But Jin?
I was thinking that maybe you'll more likely see this card if you get splashed somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah.
I think if he ends up being like a Mephisto or Thrall's list, for instance, like they will probably have some card slots to spare for characters.
Or Dormammu.
Dormammu, yeah. Like I could see that being there. But yeah, Web's cards are kind of tight for me to just be like win more with 2099 because that guy is already pretty winning.
Yeah, that's true. It's gone like, as I've done practice games over the past like 24 hours, it's come in and out. So, you are a little bit, there's a lot of like choices here and you're a little bit spoiled. You still want the staples from the old webs, right? You still want all webbed up. You still want on maze. Clone Saga is probably not a bad option these days now. So, you're kind of a little bit. Spider Tracker is the other kind of like big one. So
I think Spider Tracker I think is still a great card. Clone Saga, I guess it depends on how cheeky you want to be, right? With it, but I don't know. You keep talking about Dormammu, but a lot of these guys have unrestricted size pushes. I don't know how you feel about that.
I wouldn't take him in the mirror, right? So it'd be a Webb's Dormammu list. And
I'm saying Web Warriors players playing against your Dormammu have more unrestricted size pushes.
Right. I wouldn't bring him in the mirror.
Yeah, that's okay. I get you.
Yep. Okay, so here's what I'll say about Great Power. Okay, if we ever get a crisis rotation that we go back to Super Kaiju Land, right, where there's size 4
100%.
all running around, like having 6 power and being like, it's like cool. We can do 2 spenders with 6 power this turn.
Yeah. Well, that is a good call out for if you really want to go ham into like APOC, who's going to be one of the tougher matchups still for Webs. So.
I think all these new models kind of help the matchup with APOC.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, he's a good faction. He's going to continue to still be like pretty good. So it's just another tool in APOC, even without the mission change. Cool. So $29.9. I'm also excited to paint that model because it's a pretty fucking cool model.
You know what? It's like I'm so excited to put these all on my new bases. That's what I'm most excited about. All my Spider-Verse bases are finally going to get to use.
So we got Silk, who's really good. Spider-Man 29.99, who's also really good. But then, of course, we have Ultimate Spider-Man, who was also really good.
Yeah,
busted.
I'm trying to figure out how to add him into a list that has a pivot on Miles leadership, and I've talked to Mike about this. It's really hard.
let me tell you. I played a game with him today. The first game, Borg attacked him 4 times, and each time he attacked him, he spent 2 advance S and clapped him back. It was great, and he did it once on an all webbed up turn. So his clapback was 7 dice. The clapback is amazing. He can still go down, obviously, but his damage output is really up there. And the web swing with the 2 long moves, he's really fast.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jin.
As a public service announcement, I was sad to find out that the web up trigger, there's a then clause, which means that if the person is already slowed before you attack them with the builder, you cannot push them because you need to apply the slow on them as part of the push arrangement.
I think I saw that. I thought they said it. I thought they said it wasn't that.
No, so it's got the same wording as Red Fury from Winter Soldier version 1. So that requires you to do the push to get the free rapid fire from the spender.
Okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately, folks, make sure you cash out the slow using the ASM leadership or something before you do that if you want to displace with this character. So just want to say that as a heads up. But otherwise, this guy is crazy. He's so fast. And he's our energy blaster from range 4, so he can mess with Shang, right? Giving him like bad conditions on a bad defense he doesn't like. And empowered Venom Blast, like anyone on 2 health is so scared, like next to him.
And that's also another. This is the 3rd character that Web Warriors have that can give stun before damage.
Yeah, was it stun and shock before damage? Like,
yeah, he's stun and
cow.
shock before damage.
Like, yeah, so it's there's a lot of things here that are like gonna mess with people's like power, like economy, right? So like, not full on judgment, but still like getting stunned like out is like not nothing.
Yep.
So
you know what card I immediately think?
What, Cars are faction. Well, now you are too.
You know what card I immediately think that I really want to try is Better Tomorrow with this new Miles.
I was actually going to ask Jin that did you put Miss Marvel in your webs list, Jin?
I haven't. No. What if anything? I've been putting Miles 2 in the Inhumans list. Actually,
okay.
Because you can just like pass some power and they're just ready to go like in round 1 to Better Tomorrow.
Fair enough.
But let's skip ahead a little bit. Instead of taking Ms. Marvel, why don't you just take Spider-Man in your list instead?
Yeah, so Matt, when I first read this card, by the way, I completely missed the fact that the other Spider-Man teleports to the other Spider-Man.
Yep.
Like,
and then gets a free cost 0 attack.
That's crazy. And there's no like you can't be holding extracts or anything clause on this. Like
and it's any Miles or Peter Parker, right? So it's ASM Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, or Spectacular Spider-Man. You can use it with any combination of the Miles and Peter combo.
Yeah, I think this card almost becomes not almost an auto include, but I think it's definitely in consideration for the 5. Because not only is it an attack, you're getting out of activation movements with one of the models. So that is another great thing. You can use it just to put someone back onto a point and then attack, or try to get that last little KO days.
Well, in Miles, OG Miles, and Spectacular Spider-Man have 0 cost attacks that on a wild move that character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is great.
Yep.
I'm sitting here like looking at my list, and I'm like, there's no space. I guess I'm just taking 10 Webs characters.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about with this release is I am going to hopefully can find something competitive that is just 10 Web Warriors characters without any splashes.
Yeah, I think you can do it, Matt. Because I've tried adding A-Bomb and Red Skull 2 into like my list, and now I'm like, well, I have to bring Amazing.
Yeah.
I just feel like I have to, or Spec.
The list I have right now is not affiliated with Wong, but Wong is basically affiliated at this. Wong is affiliated at this point.
That's what I was going to say. I think Wong is the hard one to take out, or somebody that has a size 4 throw, like a Bill or a Hulk, or whoever you choose to put in that spot. But still, I think it's definitely viable. But So Ultimate Spider-Man, I mean, he still get the he just gets to reroll skulls. He's got his power, his leadership built in with the 2 rerolls on defense, and he has stealth. He still has stealth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, today in our game with Mike, I was like, wait, he's also got his fucking web swing still.
Yeah. and his attack still.
Yeah. I was like, are you serious right now? He's very good.
Borg, what I originally wanted to do, but I messed up my placement, I was going to pass a power with him round 1 with Wong. I was going to move, web swing to your back mile, and then I was going to move and play Clone Saga round 1, and then have Proud next round and whoop on you 3-3 miles. But because of how this stuff went prior, I was like, I can't even do that anymore. I was like, I have to use and go somewhere else. That's what my whole plan was the whole time.
Cool. So I don't know if we need to go over play patterns unless we want to highlight some stuff, but we kind of talked about that with each individual character. So thoughts on that? Jin, you haven't raised your hand in a while.
No, I'm just thinking about like how feasible is it to start diving like more points, right? Because like you know me, I love my long move wall crawlers that can just dive like a back F, right?
Well, to be honest, that's why I had Abomination in my list for so long, because he's still like the perfect diver. So I don't know. But go ahead, Matt.
I mean, the diving, you have for viable characters, right? You have ASM,
Silk,
you have Silk, Black Cat, and Ultimate Spider-Man, all which are decent survivable divers.
Yeah. I like Silk for the diving role the most so far, but
I mean, ASM is still great because he gets to roll everything, right? And
he moves a little bit farther, right? Because he's got the bigger base. So
so he has a little bit more movement. But I mean, you have 4 decent diving characters now,
which is pretty nuts, right? Like we're not going to discount the fact that this is very wacky right now.
Oh yeah, we should probably say something about that. This is a little tilted. It's a little tilted. It's a little. Some of this is a little bit broken in some respects, but I don't know. I'm not here to complain about it. It's just
I disagree.
You say it's broken, but look at the in general, just some of the other stuff that's come out recently too.
Yeah. There's a power creep going on.
I think there's a little bit of power creep going on across the board, and I think when you look at it that way, this is sort of standard. Because I mean, there are 4 threats that still, they have the 6/5 health, or everybody loses health of the backside still, right? Which is another thing that just seems to happen to Web Warriors generally.
Yeah, and I do want to point out too that for our listeners, there is this kind of power creep going on. A, B. I think a lot of the time, some of the complaints you hear about webs are from people. Like I know I jest and say fuck that, but I think once you play enough games and get more experienced, it's a little bit and know what they do. They're going to seem more broken to newer players who are playing into webs. But honestly, if someone's playing a really competitive webs listen into you as a newer player, maybe don't play with them. But
yeah, and I think you have to pay attention to the how what the webs characters can do. Right. This I guess I would say web warriors are a little bit of like a War Machiney, where you have to know what your opponent's stuff does if you're playing against webs, so you can do your turn effectively.
Yep, and that takes time. And it like I will say, when I first started playing in webs, into webs, or saw webs on the table, like they were really scary. And I think over time, like there's still, if you see webs across the table, you're not like, you have to think and you have to play the game intelligently in order to like beat them, and that's gonna be true. Still.
And I think they're also a tough affiliation to play well. You need to definitely get reps and think about it. And like I said at the top of the episode, they're not playing that game. You get your starter set. You've got Avengers and Hydra, or Colonel Syndicate, and they just fight. Right, that's what they do. But that's not necessarily what Web Warriors does to be an effective team in the game.
Yeah, which you really off. Even still have to like worry about. Like we talked about all these silk combos, and the reason why they become apparent is when you start positioning her excellently, right? So it really is like a positioning thing for webs too. So
web's biggest strength is with a webs player is if you know your ranges and your positioning well.
Yep. So I guess
I want to point out one thing. This is not anything we were talking about at all. Before I forget, if Miles' ultimate gets attacked, and if you're using the Skull leadership, the tactics card, not leadership, if he gets attacked and then you attack with him, you can then trigger Gwenum's clapback and clap back on to the opponent again, and if she rolls a skull, she can move long. Yeah. So you can do 2 clapbacks if he gets attacked with Gwenum. I just want to point that out because I forgot about that.
Yeah,
So you don't get the move though with Gwenum, right? Because it has to be during her activation.
Isn't it? Well, if she rolls a skull, doesn't she then place?
She does, but I think for her moves, the symbiote spider technique says that this character has to be advanced place during its activation.
Oh, you are right. All right, she doesn't get the movement. This is still clap back.
I mean, yes, that's still pretty sweet though.
Yeah, clap back to the place is never a bad thing, right? Same thing with Venom with his counterattack. You can get closer to the opponent, or so I think Gwenum and actually an Ancient Venom and Venom definitely I think are worth trying out under the new leadership for sure, or not leadership, whatever we decide to call
the
it.
Non-leadership.
Yeah.
And we did get a couple other tactics cards too.
Let's go through
3 for Prive, right? Which I think, for me anyway, probably replaces Aunt May's Cakes.
I agree with you 100%. That card is great. It's just a better Almond Sweet Cakes.
What card?
Brief for
Prive. So,
yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man and any number of other allied characters may spend 1 power each to play this card. Each creature that plays this card may remove 1 special condition or 1 damage. Then whoever did it gets if they have an activated token, they gain a power.
Right. I believe it's called Brief Reprieve, right, guys?
Yeah, Brief Reprieve. Yep.
Okay, just making sure. It's like
Jin's a stickler for English. I found out today.
Bork, you can handle the Chinese. I'll handle the English. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just that is our role on this podcast. But no, this is really good. I'm thinking about actually taking both and some matchups. I am not ashamed to take Brief Reprieve and Aunt May's Sweet Cakes and APOC.
Oh my god, I'm changing my list so much. I'm just sitting here on charts. I'm like, okay, this goes, that goes.
But no, I had a game recently and Venom was staggered and he was going to have a dead turn, but I had Brief Reprieve and removing the stagger on models is in webs is unheard of, and it was oh my god, this changes so much.
Yeah.
Can you guys just clarify one thing for me, because I was confused at first when reading this card? You don't need Ultimate Spider-Man to play this card, right?
You do.
You do. Okay. Okay. It is that. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Miles 2 must be in your list, and he must be one of the people that pay for the 1 on this card.
Cool. All right. That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure it was that. Okay.
From the inception of this episode till an hour in, I have successfully changed my list several times.
I wish if this was a video format, you could just see
me like
Bork's like Jarvis like list.
Oh, I will.
Maybe
in the. Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say it's you, like, you know, from the Pepe Silva thing from Always Sunny. It's you, but MCP stuff.
Yeah. I got compared to that guy a lot,
connected
to be honest, in college. So it's not the first time I've heard that. I can post the list I had before and then the one I have now, maybe in the episode description, and you can see.
Oh, that would be pretty good, actually.
If I remember to do that, I will do that. Okay, cool. So I will move us a little bit along here. So we went over play patterns. I don't think we're going to spend too much time there. So and we talked about, yes, there's new play style. They can be more attrition-y. I think you'll see kind of like a mix. Personally, I guess we could talk about this a little bit. I know, Jin, you're kind of just like abandoning the Miles leadership, Miles 1. I don't think that's uncalled for, but I also think like you're gonna see lists with that lean into Miles and, you know, maybe. Well, right now in my 10, I have ASM, I have Miles 1, and I have the card. So you could potentially do kind of whatever you want to when you put them on the table.
That's what my plan is eventually. I want to get my list to have all three. But right now, I'm playtesting just without 3-threat Miles to see how all the other stuff plays.
Yeah, and I agree that's a good strategy, and you're probably doing it better than I am, but I'm kind of trying to refine the list for like what I would take all the time.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good idea because, you know, as I have gotten further along playing Web Warriors, I've, you know, forced myself to play some games like without Gwen. And it makes you, I think, a better player if you do that, right?
Yeah.
Like Miles, OG Miles, like we said, is sort of like a deadlock. Like, I get your real defense dice. That's easy. I'll just do that. But as soon as you take yourself away from that, you get to see more combos and figure more stuff out.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like my list right now has all 5 of the new models with Wong, ASM, Spec, Gwen, and Cat. So
our
all
list
Philly.
is probably exactly the same right now.
Oh, there you go. But I'm also gonna try Gwenum. The next game I play.
So I do want to call out here too while we're on this kind of topic, because now we're getting like lots of ideas. So this affiliation is pretty deep. I think outside of like maybe 4-threat Peter, there's a lot to try here. Like even Spider-Woman might be worth a go again. Venom, we mentioned, Silver Sable, Moon Knight, and Gwenum and Agent Venom are kind of like some of the underplayed models. But I do think we've talked about it in this episode. If anyone wants to add on there, but I do think there's like space now to try those guys out.
Well, and if we're talking about all these characters doing a lot of damage, you know, then you bring in Spider-Woman, who has Interrogate for extra VPs.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, you know, we didn't really talk about him, but I think Prowler is worth trying as a splash for pay flips because he gets to refund that power the first time he interacts every turn. And he's a long mover. Right. So you could potentially flip 2 pay flips in one go with just 1 power.
Special call out to Prowler too. I do think maybe we'll do another kind of mirror episode on Spider Foes, but like Spider Foes have a lot going for them right now, and he added like kind of exactly what they needed. I know a longtime listener, and I'll shout out to Sean. Him and I talk a lot about like list tinker and like talk about like kind of he's a longtime Spider Foes player, so we've mentioned more than once that like either a 2-threat or a long mover, and like now we're kind of cooking. Which is exactly what they got. And they want to play on pay to flips, and he just like plays into that kind of style under Doc Ock, right? Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see.
In Prowler Prowler with his power refund and ASM on pay to flips where he gets a power when he rolls a crit, you can potentially dominate those once bad matchups now.
Yep. I don't think he's bad as a splash. It's just who you really want to cut. Prowler really does interest me. Yeah, he really does interest me a lot, especially with the Pierce and the suppressive on his builder. And he's.
I'm just laughing because, like, really the issue here is like there's so many good options. It does come down to like space.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's a great place to be in for being a Web Warriors
Affiliation.
player right now. Is I just have so much good stuff. I don't know what to take.
Yeah. And Jin?
Oh, just letting you, he's got the better version of the Killmonger 2's the covert weaponry. So instead of having to be within 2, he just has like no rerolls when you get attacked by the scanner from range 4. So, and he's got the ability to reroll all of his dice, if he doesn't like that initial attack result, right? So characters that can like stop modifications. I know we're gonna talk about like things to watch out for, like to go into webs if you think you're having trouble with them. So New Prowler coincidentally is one of those models that can stop Spider-Man rerolls, right? And that can help like sort of like get them close to a day's KO state, which is
So he's also good in the mirror, to be honest.
Yep. Fun interaction with Prowler. Just want to say this randomly. Someone told me it's like, hey, you should put him under Mystique.
Yeah.
With Freedom Force, he gets a refund from his innate power and a refund from
the
charge. It's a long wall crawler charger.
Dude, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with Pedro last night for like 30 minutes, and we were talking about that part just for 10 minutes. It was hilarious.
Oh god, this character's gonna be so silly. Depending on where you find him, like he's cool. I like him.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was clicking around and changing my list again. No, I can't fit Prowler, and I'm going to stick with what I got for now.
We can go with have the new characters fix the difficult matchups. Do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they definitely help. Like we kind of talked about before, they help out in the APOC matchup, which is great. I think that's our, sort of the Web Warriors' worst matchup right now.
Yeah. Yep. And to keep that kind of brief, because I do want to spend, because like I told Jin, we should keep this balanced, and I do want to spend some time on how do you go into or play against these new webs? Because like not all of our listeners are webs players, and so they probably want to know like some strategies or like things you're thinking about that may be weaknesses. I mean, your models still die. I will say they do die, right? So that's the first thing I have to say is like heavy attrition list. We have a little bit more survivability, a lot more survivability. But I do think if you're like on a more narrow map or something like that, you can get attrition off the board.
And I think, if we're talking about all these great characters now that move along, I mean, just give them slow. That cuts way down on the planning and makes things a lot harder. Conditions in general, I mean, just like anybody else, right? We're so power hungry that stun is great for you to give.
Poison's still really good.
Poison's great.
Yeah. Root is really good. Honestly, a lot of the conditions really, if you play the condition game onto them, really hurts them.
Yep. And then there's also things that there's more energy saps, like you think of rogues like mutant absorption, things like that. Like even the werewolf, like Howl, even if you ever see werewolf. But Deadpool's Merc with a Mouth, like these things are like integral sometimes. Like if you think about how much power a character needs to get their ideal turn off, if you can do something to sort of stop that and just leave them alone afterwards, like that could hamper webs like very objective focused play, right? Because a lot of times they're not necessarily looking to daze you depending on the model you're putting power off of.
Well, Jim, you might have to reassess. They're not always looking to daze you now.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying that classical, like the three threat webs, right, are not looking to daze you for the most part.
Yeah. And what's that, Matt?
I was going to say, Web Warriors need power, just like we were talking about. So if you don't need to, don't attack them.
You cut out a little bit. You cut it out a little bit. So repeat.
We're saying Web Warriors need power. So if you don't need to, don't attack them.
Right. Yep. That's a really good solution. And I have noticed, especially with some of their characters, like, even more specifically, like Pig, he isn't, Spider-Ham isn't great at like generating a lot of power because he's like low health too. So if you can kind of like make sure they're not getting that, because there's ideal numbers of power. I mean, 2099 is hard because he kind of like off his own kit just starts going. But like there's several characters, Silk being one of them too, where it's just like if you don't feed them power, if you don't have to, then you can, and you like attack someone else, it can be more impactful.
I don't necessarily agree with the Silk part, but the other characters, yes, just because Silk kind of funds their own kit a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is something that has long been if you're playing against Web Warriors, like people attack Gwen, give her 4 power, then get pissed when she pulls 2 characters.
Mhm.
If they didn't attack her, she'd have 1 power and not be able to do anything. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
unless
You really gotta
attack a model. Yeah, you have to intend to finish the job, right?
yeah,
Finish
that's
your
what I was
play.
gonna say,
Yeah, you
And
can't
like,
really
like-
do like the in between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like I
it's
said, it's
really
a little war machiney where you need to know what the Web Warriors characters can do and how much power it's going to take for that to happen.
Yep. That's like
I-
super important. It's really important, actually, especially for webs, is because like these kits all have like a pretty, like Miles. I'm just thinking Miles 1 because that one I know. Miles 1 at like 7 power, he can like do everything. So like maybe don't
Right.
attack him. He's at 5, right? If you can help it. So
Yeah, if like Miles 1 is like 4 power and you think about attacking him, well, if you do exactly 2 damage, then that's the best of both worlds. He can Venom Blast, pick up, whip sing away, move away.
yeah.
Basically. So really knowing their exact power needed to fund the best abilities on their kits is really detrimental for that. Like Silk, if Silk is at like 3 power and you attack her, you can give her 2 more power, up to 5. She can do her spender. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, I think Spider-Foe is like, the Trap House list is like a fun theme they can do, but it actually is very good, right? Into webs, because anytime you can give them damage without having them interact with their dodge or defense rerolls is a big deal. So like Abomination, poison / damage, AoE, Goblin, not
Warlock,
goblins,
Jin, Warlock.
but yep, Warlock. Let's say
Thank you.
That's a character in this game for sure.
Yes, you
that
gotta
is
give it
a
to me.
character you can paint up and put on the table. Yes.
Someday,
but-
just wait. Years from now, when New Mutants are good, I'll be like, I told you so.
Dude, I got to play a game recently though with both Mysterio and Silk like on the same team, but man, that is a lot of incidental damage that will happen. Like when you're trying to interact with them. So like
you just pair that with Electro. All 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3 of them. Yeah, coincidentally,
I am now
Silk,
just super
good Spider-Foe?
excited.
Question mark.
I'm now just super excited for the Adepticon preview in 2027 where they show that Warlock is going to be on the card revamp and Steven getting really excited.
Just Warlock. They're like, we're not going to touch the New Mutants faction, but we'll give Warlock an update.
Warlock, that's it. We already gave you enough with Magic.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone, those who attended, saw my face at the beginning of Standoff last year as it slowly became frustration.
Yeah.
The pictures get more monochrome as it goes on.
It's just a depressed Steven in the corner, learning that his cool leadership of teleporting doesn't really work.
That's okay. They gave Magic a buff.
Yeah, okay. We don't have to talk about New Mutants. So I'm a webs player now. Fuck that. And an APOC player. But cool. So final thoughts. I guess like each of you, so we aren't interrupting, just like kind of run through your final thoughts. I won't do mine because I'm not, a veteran webs player or anything by any means. So we'll start with Matt.
I think all these characters are really exciting. If you're a webs player or want to get into webs, play around, right? They just released the 4-pack with Age of Venom, Spider-Woman, ASM, and Black Adder. That's coming out soon, so you'll have easy access to all these characters. Play around, find out which 10 works best for you, but there's definitely, you're spoiled for choice now.
And Mike?
Definitely try new things. This is a time where webs can actually experiment, and you're not going to see the same lists over and over again. When you go to your local store, you go to tournaments, and it's just Miles leadership. You're going to see a lot more ASM. You're also going to see that Skull unlocking card of the Spider-Verse. So definitely don't be afraid to experiment. Every character is viable that are affiliated, so definitely try everybody, except for the 4th Peter Parker.
And Jin?
Is it time for the new age of Clone Saga? Question mark.
I think so. I think I can finally get it
I
off.
think if you find you have a 10th card spot open, I would feel free to take Clone Saga, but I think that's going to be hard.
Yeah, I just dropped it actually as we were talking. So, but yeah, lots of webs. I think people are going to definitely have some fun with this affiliation. So, let me open my notes here to close out. So thank you, Matt, for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you. And to be honest with you, the episode from like a little over a year ago that you were on is one of our top listened to episodes. So you must bring in the intel. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it's because everybody hates web words and is hoping we're going to talk about how to beat them.
Yeah. Yep. And I think Phil probably listens to it like 3,000 times.
No. Wait, which Phil? Which Phil?
Donju. I'm kidding, because just tell him we mentioned him, and he'll listen to it.
Phil Donju just spikes like a madman, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Him and I had a crazy game we went over a couple episodes ago. So
yeah. Not only is he a really good player, but then like I don't know, like we have that weird thing where whenever we play, one of us rolls really bad and the other one doesn't. So.
Yeah, you guys have been like duking it out in our locals recently for the past like 6 months of a year. So, okay. So we're Alive on One. You can follow us on our Facebook, which Stephen Matt Alix does post to occasionally. You can join our Discord, and you should join our Discord. The link is below. Email is aliveon1@gmail.com. RSMP, Jin is affiliated. We always mention them, and GameStore Guardians. So RSMP, I know we're having some stuff eventually come out for Jin, which he's talked about before.
Yep, it'll be October, looks like. Josh is still busy with a bunch of other projects, but hopefully October will be back in the swing of things.
And I have time now, so that elusive battle report that we've alluded to, maybe we do a cool like webs versus Spider Foes one now, because they're both kind of in decent places and we can be as competitive as we want. That would be kind of cool. But maybe we'll get that going. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify or wherever you prefer to listen, which we do. Weirdly enough, there are other podcast platforms. But anyways, our affiliate Huge Miniatures, link is below. And without further ado, Godspeed, Ultimate Spider-Man. Thanks for listening. Bye.